Sweet Baby James, which, as I explained in the performance, was written for my nephew James, named after me, firstborn child to my generation and my family, first kid born to among us siblings. I think the fact that we were raised sort of out in the woods in North Carolina, my mother was from New England and she felt sort of isolated. My father was drafted and disappeared to the South Pole for a couple of years. We had a very sort of insulated sense of ourselves as a family. And we didn't have the sort of, we were just basically on our own there in this small town and in this strange place, to my mother, strange place of North Carolina, you know, a small North Carolinian town. She was from Newburyport, Massachusetts, and educated in Boston, and she felt very, I think, isolated. And my siblings feel like a complete set, you know, and sort of in my brain, I think of our family as not being really connected to anything except the landscape. There aren't aunts and uncles or friends, and you know, there's very little of that. So, you know, this song "Sweet Baby James" I wrote when I was driving back down to see my family in North Carolina, having been away for some period of time. I was in England. I came back. I wanted to see my family again, and I was excited to see this first kid born, named after me. So I wrote the song in the form of a cowboy lullaby, like a Gene Autry or Roy Rogers kind of cowboy lullaby. And I think it's good work. It means a lot to me personally. And then it also has the second verse of it. First verse is for little James. The second verse is for big James, me. And then it also goes from the specific to the general, to sort of to the cosmic, and talks about the nature of belief, and you know what makes you feel comfortable. What you know, the line is, maybe you can believe it if it helps you to sleep, but the music works for me, you know. It's the song also is constructed well. It has this internal, very complicated internal, for me, complicated internal rhyming scheme. You know, there is a young cowboy who lives on the range. His horse and his cattle are his only companions. Works in the saddle to rhyme with cattle. Sleeps in the canyons to rhyme with companions. Waiting for summer's pastures to change. Rhymes with lives on the range. You know, it's kind of a puzzle that fits together. You know, as the moon rises, he sits by his fire, closing his eyes as the dogies retire. You know, it's got a lot of sort of slick internal rhymes that hook it together, sort of make it very connected. So, and then I'm just proud of it. I think it's a good job of work, and it works well with my voice and in the key of D on the guitar. It just came together nicely. It was an early work after I'd gotten my legs under me a little bit as a songwriter.
There is a young cowboy, he lives on the range. His horse and his cattle are his only companions. He works in the saddle and he sleeps in the canyons, waiting for summer, his pastures to change. And as the moon rises, he sits by his fire, thinking about women and glasses of beer, and closing his eyes as the dogies retire. He sings out a song which is soft but it's clear, as if maybe someone could hear. Good night, you moonlight ladies, rock-a-bye, sweet baby Jane. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Won't you let me go down in my dreams? rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Now the 1st of December was covered with snow. So was the turnpike from Stockbridge to Boston. Lord, the Berkshires seemed dreamlike on account of that frosting. With 10 miles behind me and 10,000 more to go. There's a song that they sing when they take to the highway, a song that they sing when they take to the sea, a song that they sing of their home in the sky. Maybe you can believe it if it helps you to sleep, but singing works just fine for me. So good night, you moonlight ladies, rock-a-bye, sweet baby James. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose. Won't you let me go down in my dreams and rock-a-bye, sweet